And Shalom is Brother Yashima Zakar from the Israelite Report, IsraeliteReport.com. Upon my watch, all praises are definitely due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace and blessings to all the brothers spread across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth and sincerity, those that truly believe and want to get the hell up out of here. Go straight to Jeremiah 28 and 7. It says, "Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears and in the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence." And these prophecies right before our faces, right before our eyes, we can clearly see that these prophecies are true. They're not just coming true, but they're true. And a lot of, people are just running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. They're just now finding out that, the government and politicians and business moguls are perverted, degenerate, low-life bastards that eat babies. They're just now finding this out when we knew this all along. So there's somewhat of a public outcry for people that are just finding these things out, especially with the Epstein files, and that's basically, all over social media. That's one of the biggest talking points right now at the moment. But we been knew this. So there's this public outcry. People are, I don't know if they're really angry or fake angry. I really wish they would get really pissed off and turn this mother effer up, I really want to see shit get cracking out here. But nevertheless, here we are. This devil is now being revealed, and the whole world can see it, and the world can see him for who he is, even if some people don't want to say the quiet part out loud. But that leads people to ask questions. If these crazy so-called conspiracy theorists and truth tellers were right about this satanic cult that Esau is in charge of, if these crazy conspiracy theorists were right about this shit, then what else were they right about? So I have about 3 clips that I'm going to play back to back to back and just let them ride. It's about 2 minutes together. And I'll come back and I'll comment on them.
You got vets in this country that are finding out that they went to war for these pieces of shit that were trafficking children, and they probably had their assumptions and seen shit like, yeah, they're fucking trafficking kids. And they just couldn't do nothing because of the chain of command, and they weren't 100% sure. Now all this shit comes out. Oh, they're 100% sure now. I bet you there's tons and tons of vets that are thinking about their time while they were deployed somewhere and saying, why did they take those kids? Why were those kids moved from one area to another? Why did they disappear? Where the hell did they go?
Spoiler alert. You don't spend $45 billion building detention centers across the United States if your whole plan is to deport people. What do you think he's going to use these detention centers for? What does that sound like?
So not great news, but it does need to happen. In Europe, they're openly talking about how the U.S. has death camps. Like, they're not even trying to, explain this shit away and downplay it. Like, they're straight up people, who matter. Like, people in parliament and whatnot of various different countries. I guess in the UK, they're just, yeah, they're just talking about it. They're like, yeah, well, there's death camps. What are we going to do about it? They're talking about what they're going to do about it. You guys, do you know who else had death camps and the rest of Europe was talking about what to do about it? You guys, we have to do something. They're not going to intervene until we resist as a whole.
So I want to address a few things that were talked about in those clips. The first one, the gentleman there was talking about military veterans knowing about the child trafficking or suspecting the child trafficking. And that's something that goes back to when I was in, I'm speaking for myself, when I was in, there were a lot of things that looked suspicious to me. You have to understand that the average soldier is just marching, taking marching orders, and they're not paying attention. I was a different type of a nigga because my father taught me to never be in a room and not know what the hell is going on. You need to know who's who in that room. Because my father used to tell me something growing up in the D.C. area. He used to say, if you want to be a Washingtonian, you have to understand Washington politics. So I was curious about a lot of shit that was going on. There were things that I would see that I would just keep in my mental Rolodex while the other niggas were just, doing their thing. And that's how I got to kind of get on the inside of certain shit. But I will say this. Yes, there is a certain select few veterans that were paying attention. They weren't just dumbasses marching around and taking marching orders. There were a few that were paying attention to certain shit, and they saw certain shit didn't make sense. A great example, Pat Tillman. Pat Tillman was a football player for the Arizona Cardinals. He left the NFL and went to go play. He left the NFL and went to go serve I believe it was the United States Army. That was a long time ago. This was during the Iraq and Afghanistan war. I believe he was in Afghanistan, and he found out while he was over there that they were pretty much protecting the poppy fields. And there was a lot of drug dealing going on with the U.S. military, bringing it back to the United States of America. And you know what they did to him? They offed his ass and called it friendly fire. But the thing is that these veterans are number one on that domestic terrorist list. That came out years ago. They're number one. They're the first people that the United States government will look to as far as having to detain whenever this uprising of the people, the civil unrest breaks out. They're the first people that they're looking to throw into those concentration camps. Speaking of which, the second clip, the man was going into the $45 billion that was built, that was spent, Salakia. $45 billion spent towards detention camps all across America. And you may get tired of hearing me talk about this, but see, this is happening in the background. See, the Epstein files have damn near become a distraction from that. And like the man was saying in that second clip, you don't spend $45 billion for detention centers and you're not going to use them. That's not how this works. They don't do that. Whenever they make big money moves like that, they're doing it because they plan on making a move. The third clip was the woman speaking on death camps, as she called them. And that's been coming out as well, that they've been unaliving some of these so-called illegal immigrants that they've been throwing into these camps. And I'm pretty sure Esau has been doing some despicable shit, probably sacrificing these detainees, probably doing some kind of rituals and shit, offering up sacrifices to Moloch and Baal. It's the same devil. He hasn't changed. For years, this devil was able to keep this secret, but the Lord caused his own tongue to fall upon themselves. And they can't help but put this truth out because there's this thing called content. And everyone wants to be known. Everybody wants to be known. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody has a camera phone. This is the age that we're in. So the Lord set this up for this devil to be revealed in this time. And for that, we say Barak Atah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Because even though everything just seems like it's just dark and gloomy and, but we still have to give praise to the Lord because the Lord is causing this devil to reveal himself in these latter days. For years, this type of information, you would get laughed at. But now it's coming out. I remember when I left the military, I was hot. I was pissed because I didn't know no better. I was telling people, this is what they're doing. They're going to bring about FEMA camps and shit. And people was just looking at me like, nigga, you crazy. My ex-girlfriend, she still will call me here and there to this day. She'll call me and she'll be like, you know that shit you was talking about? Yeah, I saw that shit on the news. It's like we have these conversations. And she was with me back then. That's when we were together. Back when I was really on that type of shit. I used to talk to her family. Nah, you don't understand. The government, they're looking to depopulate most of the planet and this, that, and the third. And I was just, But all this information is coming out. Luke 8:17, it says, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest. Nothing is secret. We're in that time. There's no excuse anymore. Nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. So all the nasty, disgusting shit that this devil has done and is doing, it's all coming to light. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. When Esau pisses off these military veterans, you're going to see some real shit pop off around here. See, I know this, and it's something that's in the back of my mind while I'm watching the news and I'm watching all this shit. And I'm going to tell you a dirty little secret. I don't mean to drag this on. When I left the Air Force, I did a little bit of investigative journalism and shit, right? And so I used to go and kind of interview. I don't know if y'all remember Occupy Wall Street. You used to have in DC, right? I would get off work and I would go and talk to these military veterans that were camped out in Occupy Wall Street. White folk, Edomites. And I would, interview them and get their perspective on shit. They were mad at the bankers at that time because the U.S. was going through a housing crisis. This was towards the end of the Bush administration, George W. Bush, going into the Obama administration, if you remember. And let me tell you something. A lot of those Edomites out there, they were pitched in tents. They were occupying the D.C. area, and they were tented up. They had tent cities out there. And I'm gonna tell you something: the attitude and the mood of those veterans, they really wanted to burn this shit down, but they were psyoped into what was known as the Tea Party, right? So the Republican Party created something called the Tea Party, but the Tea Party actually wasn't a part of the Republican Party. The Republican Party took control of the Tea Party, which was organic. It was an organic grassroots organization. And from that, after the Obama years, the Tea Party became MAGA. So when you see MAGA, just understand that that's the psyop from the organic Tea Party over to the Trump Republican MAGA Party. So Trump became like their hero. He became the representative of what was the Tea Party. And that goes back to the last year of George W. Bush. See, I know these things. This is why I tell you, when the shit hit the fan, these veterans are gonna go off. And if I know that, then the elites of Esau know that. That's why they're putting these veterans on a terrorist list, a domestic terrorists, and calling them potential threats to the nation, enemies of the state. This is what's going on in your country right now, and you don't know it. There's civil war bubbling underneath the surface. Deep down below, there's a civil war that's bubbling that you don't know nothing about. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you've heard about the situation going on in Mexico, and I've heard rumors that U.S. military intelligence was down there starting shit. We'll see how that goes. But there's another situation developing supposedly in Chicago. Now, I don't know if this is some sort of psyop or not, but allegedly, supposedly, in Chicago, there's a group of, like you can say, they're young niggas, YNs. They're showing off their firearms to let people know that they run the city. And they're pretty much making threats like we run this shit. In other words, the government ain't got nothing to do with this shit. And I kind of, I saw it and I said, damn, that's kind of interesting. There's something to keep your eye on, because you could very well be looking at a situation where this administration will go through there and get some shit started. Because I've been saying for a long time now, well, since Trump got back in the White House, they really want Judah to get shit popping. Like, they want Judah. That's what they really want. Like, the fucking with the Latinos and all of that. That's one thing on one level, deporting and doing that. That's one thing. But they really want the head tribe. They really want to come after Judah. And it's just something to keep your eyes on. Just watch and see what happens. But I got this from Genghis Khan on X, and he writes this. The concentration camps are not for illegals. Illegals can be immediately deported. And I talked about this before. Illegals can be immediately deported. So who are these concentration camps for? Who are these detention centers really for? And we've said for years that Walmart, which you put it backwards, is martial law, right? Walmart is in on this. And Trump is buying up these different warehouses. It's been on the news, but it's floating under the radar for potential domestic terrorism here in the United States of America. But he writes, the concentration camps are not for illegals. Illegals can be immediately deported. They are for domestic terrorists, the American citizens who disagree in any way with any government policy. It says, in other words, that's you. The founding fathers warned you this was coming. And someone replied with this, buddy, I'm going to say this real easy for you. If you ain't a domestic terrorist, then why are you worrying? Do you have something to hide? And someone wrote this in a reply. Brother, they're calling anyone who's opposed to the government Antifa, which literally means anti-fascist, a domestic terrorist, or anyone who speaks out against MAGA or ICE, which is a First Amendment right. They're calling them a domestic terrorist. What the fuck are you even talking about? And again, this is something that I stress over and over again ad nauseum, that your speech and the things that you said and the videos that you've liked, your comments and all of that is being tracked and it's being put in a database. Just understand what the times that we're in. You're leaving a digital footprint. Just know that. Just know that and understand that. That you, the everyday person, is considered a domestic terrorist, an enemy of the state. Because this devil knows his time is short. This devil is moving and operating on a different timeline from you and your mind. That's why I'm always talking about a major false flag coming. Once that false flag pops off, we had a situation today near my job. They had there was a potential BOMB threat at my job. If they had to set some shit off, they would have they would have shut everything down right then and there. Matter of fact, last Tuesday I put up this recording talking about a famine of the word, and then Tuesday night or Tuesday evening, YouTube started glitching out. YouTube crashed and people couldn't get on YouTube like that. It happened just that fast, and it was ironic because it was the same day. Go look at the last title of my recording. It was called, what was it called? A famine of the word, a famine of hearing of the word. It was called Though It Tarry, Wait for It, a famine of hearing of the word. And then YouTube went and pulled this bullshit. It glitched out and made it so that, for a little while, people couldn't really access YouTube like that. I remember because it happened to me. It could happen just that fast. Understand what it's like to be labeled a domestic terrorist. You're talking to someone who knows how the military deals with someone that's labeled a domestic terrorist. You see when ICE pulls up on the Hispanics, on the Latinos, who they suspect of being an illegal immigrant, you see how they handle them? How they just grab them and throw them up against the concrete, stomp their face in and shit. That's how you handle a domestic terrorist. That's what it's going to be like. Let me get James 2:13. It says, "For he shall have judgment without mercy that have showed no mercy. And mercy rejoiceth against judgment." That's why when you hear these niggas talking about Esau can make it, you got to remember the Lord punished us for the sins of our forefathers because we are our forefathers. We had to be judged. Esau has to be judged for what he has done and what he's doing right now. You know how many Edomites, even if they're not online saying it openly, you know how many Edomites are rejoicing whenever they see an ICE agent just snatch up a so-called black or brown person and beat the shit out of them? They're celebrating, man. But the Lord said, "For he shall have judgment without mercy that have showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment." I'm going to get Isaiah 34:5, because these devils got to pay for what they're doing to us and what they're going to do to us. Because they're going to unleash hell on our people. Isaiah 34:5, it says, "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra." These Edomites are going to get it, man. Idumea is nothing but Edom. Okay? "For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorns shall come down with them, and the bullocks and with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion." The Lord is our vengeance. You hear these Christians always talking about, "Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord." Yeah, and the Lord is going to give vengeance. When Yahweh Shah come back, yeah, there's going to be some vengeance. Your final little moment in time when you can persecute the saints of the Lord and persecute our people as a whole, because they're going to really do damage to the 2/3. And some of the brothers that truly believe, yes, we may get our damn head chopped off. But I truly believe that the Lord is going to avenge us. But anyway, I'm going to start it over again. I had another recording that I wanted to play. I'm going to go ahead and start the show over again. Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Kahaloyim Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Shalom, it's your brother Yasha Mazakar from the Israelite Report, IsraeliteReport.com. Upon my watch, all praises are definitely due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Peace and blessings to all the brothers spread across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth and sincerity, those that truly believe and want to get the hell up out of here. I'm going to go straight to 1 John 3:1. It says, behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doeth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure. And I brought this out because, when I was in the Christian church, they used to sing this verse, the second verse. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doeth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. We used to sing this verse, but not knowing what that verse really meant. And I remember they used to have an image of a white Jesus, and they didn't have a true depiction, which wouldn't matter if they had one or not. But in their head, they had white Jesus on the brain, looking for a white Jesus to come crack the sky and rapture them up. That's what they were looking forward to. When he shall appear, we shall be like him. Now, you can only imagine how much of a mind F-U-C-K that is. How mentally messed up you are in the brain. Here it is, you so-called black or African American, and you're looking for some white Edomite to crack the sky and rapture you up and save you. Or take you to heaven with some fat white angels floating around and shit. Babies and shit floating around. Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And I thank the Lord, praise the Lord daily for showing me this truth. I'm going to get Ecclesiasticus Sirach. It says here, I'm going to go straight to the 4th verse. Ecclesiasticus 10:4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. And right now, we're seeing no profit. A gain turned into a loss. There's no profit. And we've seen niggas over the years, all these black celebrities, they get set up and then they get taken down. Every time you turn around, it says a fool and his money will soon depart. Right? We have no profit. And when I say profit, I'm talking about Profit. We have no profit here. This is not our rest, man. And knowing that is aggravating because you have to go to work every day, slave, and come home and deal with more bullshit. And it's like, when in the hell are we going to leave this damn place, man? So it's sighing and crying. But even in our, messed up state, our effed up state that we're in, our enemy is still jealous of us and still want to make a move of us because we make a move on us, Salakia. They want to make a move on us because we are the sons of God. So this is a spiritual battle. There's something in their spirit that hates us and wants to make a move on us. Even if you don't want to acknowledge that you're an Israelite, Cause you run into niggas like that. And man, I ain't no Israelite. Okay, good. Esau's spirit knows that you're an Israelite. That's why he hates you. And matter of fact, to prove that, I got this from X, right? This is somebody that goes by the name Mr. Obvious on X. And this is what he writes. It appears Jeffrey Epstein used to hunt black people for sport. And he put this in the quote because this was in the quote from the Jeffrey Epstein files. I'm going to mean Larry's to hunt niggers. So I guess Jeffrey Epstein was saying that he's going to is someone named Mean Larry. Or it could be a place called Mean Larry's. I don't know. But it says, I'm going to Mean Larry's to hunt niggers. And it's coming out in the files that that's what they were doing. And I knew this already, a lot of shit I knew already. And brothers, you knew a lot of this shit already. But, they take these children and probably even grown-ass adult black and Latino people, and they, either kidnapped them and they send them out into the woods and then they hunt them for sport. There's certain movies that came out depicting that. But that's not even the focus. That's not surprising. If you know Esau, you know he does this type of shit. That's not the focus. But let me go to the replies, right? Some Edomite replied and said this: let's focus on the bad stuff he did instead of glorifying him. Like, in other words, what he's saying is hunting niggers isn't a bad thing. Let's focus on the bad things he did. So he's being a smart ass. He's saying, there's nothing wrong with hunting and shooting and killing niggers. Another person writes, this another Edomite, he writes, I don't blame him for this one. And I've seen other posts, when the Epstein files came out and they came out that Epstein, was hunting niggers and doing all types of wicked shit to black people. You would see Edomites in the comment section saying, damn, Epstein isn't as bad as I thought he was. This is the mindset of your enemy. Also, it says here in another one, it says, this is a black person replying to these Edomites. This is what he writes. He says, no shit. They've been doing this for years. They can't stand the fact that we freed ourselves and been seethering ever since. I think he's saying that, white people been mad since we freed ourselves. And he says, they call it the fear of a black planet. Guess what? That won't work. We are the future. So I guess this is obviously a Jake. He's saying that, the black man is the future or whatever. So Mr. Obvious replies with, bruh, the white man freed you. Thank Lincoln. You're lucky he got killed because his plan was to send all blacks to Africa or the Caribbean. To be honest, you lost out. I'd rather be in the Caribbean. He got killed, though. So, again, this is the pride of this devil. And he's telling you how he truly feels about you. But yet, when I was in the Christian church, I was taught to just love everybody. Jesus is love. You can't go up to them and tell them that this is how the white man feel. A nigga will read this shit and go, man, that's Epstein. Oh, that's just certain ones. No, they hate you. It's in their spirit to hate you. And part of the reason why Jake can't see that is because in their mind, they still have white Jesus. That's why I don't deal with that name Jesus. I can't stand it. I hate when someone says it because I know growing up in a Christian church, I don't give a damn how much you try to lie and say you believe in a black Jesus. You're a fucking liar. When you say Jesus, your black ass is thinking about a white man. So when IUIC says Jesus Christ, I know damn well the niggas in that congregation are thinking about a white man. I don't give a fuck what they say. They can march and do, I don't give a shit how long their purple garments are. They're thinking about a goddamn white Jesus. Esau's default position is always to kill a nigger. That's his default position to any and everything that happens. Again, going back to the Charlie Kirk thing. When he got shot, what did they do? They threatened HBCUs. Bomb threats. That's his default position. You haven't heard any of these white Christian, what do you call it, conservative white Christians with an outcry for the black children that were hunted down and killed by Epstein and his crew. They don't give a fuck about you. And this is why I know as we get closer and closer to the end, with everything that's happening right now, you have the threat of World War III. You have the infrastructure for the microchip, the mark of the beast set up. Uprisings of the people, you can see it's bubbling. Civil war is coming. You can see all of this shit is bubbling, the financial collapse. All of this is happening all at the same time. And niggas still can't wake up. Let me get Psalms 94:1. It says, O Lord God, power, Yahweh, to whom vengeance belongeth, O God, to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud. And you can't get more proud than Esau. It says, Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? And we're constantly asking this question, when are we going to get our kingdom back? And we know Yahweh Shai is itching to come back, man. But even he doesn't know the day or the hour. It says, Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? And that's what you heard in that X post, proud speech. You know, let's not glorify Epstein because he killed niggers. You know, to them, that's a good thing, killing niggers. If Esau killed off all the black people, black, Latino, just say brown people in general, you know what he would end up doing? He would end up killing himself. The thief cometh not but to kill, steal, and destroy. It's all he come to do. It's all he know how to do. That's what's in his spirit. That's what's in his nature. And this is what's We're getting ready to go face to face with this devil on a carnal level. Meaning, what I mean by that is physically, he's going to try to attack us. And it's going to take divine intervention. We're going to have to be as spiritual as we possibly can be. We're going to have to really be in tune with the Lord to make it out of this, because this is what's on this devil's mind. To destroy us. This is beyond a lot of niggas' comprehension. They just cannot comprehend that Satan is walking around with them. The physical manifestation of Satan, Esau Edom, this white man is walking around them in a suit and a tie, walking around them every day, looking to destroy them, looking to kill them, whether it be through his science, his medical, through his doctors or whatever. He don't care. This is the wicked. It says in the 5th verse, they break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thine heritage. They break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thine heritage. They slay the widow and the stranger and murder the fatherless. Yet they say, the Lord shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it. And that's where Esau is right now. That's why he can speak so boastfully. We've been hanging and lynching and killing these niggas for all these years, for centuries, and nothing has happened to us. God surely must be with us. And that's also another reason why niggas believe God must be with the white man. Seventh verse says, yet they say the Lord shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it. Understand, ye brutish among the people, and ye fools. When will ye be wise? He that planteth the ear shall he not hear? He that formed the eye, shall he not see? He that chasteneth the heathen, shall not he correct? He that teacheth man knowledge, shall not he know? The Lord knoweth the thoughts of man, that they are vanity. And it's a very vain thing for Esau to think that his kingdom will go on forever. Esau's kingdom is hunting down niggers. That's the idea of the kingdom of heaven for Esau. For you to be in slavery and for them to just kill you at will. You know what Esau's version of heaven is? Having a nigger chained up somewhere, making him bow down and get fucked by a dog. Sorry I had to say it that way. I just need you to understand. This is the devil with all the technology to just bomb and kill whoever he pleases. This is his idea of fun. But yet you got a black fucking monkey-faced nigger that'll stand right in front of you and tell you, we don't need a savior. We don't need a power to rescue us. All we need is money. Generational wealth. That's it. Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, it says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. And they just think that this shit is just gonna keep on going, man. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And I'm just getting, I get pissed off because, Jake is so fucking retarded. Jake got so much animosity towards each other. You can't even walk past Jake without Jake wanting to do something to you. They see another black man walk by, they got the blicky. They shit then. Well, shit. They looking at you like, nigga, I wish, nigga, shit. Meanwhile, you got a fucking pedophile faggot, dog dick licking cracker walking right past them. Probably got some, man. Fuck it, I'll say it. They probably got some black kid tied up somewhere, torturing the shit out of him, doing God knows what, and Jake is okay with it. It makes the news, and Jake just like, well, shit then. Oh, well, shit then, looking ass nigga. Fuck you black niggas, man. Fuck you. You niggas are weak. You niggas ain't about shit. And you niggas gonna die. Right here in America, you gonna die. And you're gonna take the microchip like a little fucking cocksucking bitch that you are. You niggas are weak. Cause soon as Esau say it's mandatory that you have to take the microchip in order to eat, your black stinking nigga ass is gonna go right down there to your local CVS or wherever, cause that's what they did. The jab. They had in different places, man. You can go to Walgreens, you can go to CVS, you can go any goddamn where. I think they made it free, right? You're gonna walk your black fucking ass right on down there and take that goddamn microchip. Without question. Cause you niggas ain't shit. And that's why this cracker feels like you're nothing but a pet that he can hunt for sport. And don't worry, if you think this shit don't affect you, real soon, this white man is going to show your black ass how he really feel about you. He's going to bring the Jeffrey Epstein files to your neighborhood, nigga.